Exactly. I think I would totally agree with you in that context. I was even wondering this a few moments ago that I mean, why we're even having this discussion in the first place? Because this whole problem of artificial intelligence is emerging from a civilization which is standing on a very different ideological foundation, or जिसकी अपनी historical जो direction है, that has nothing to do with our own historical direction. Um, there is a good analogy used by Tamim Ansari in one of his book, The Destiny Disrupted. In the end of his book, he explains that imagine there are two caravans, moving in two different directions, and these two caravans, mix with each other at a specific point in history. And one of the caravans was very tired and very exhausted, and the other caravan was very energetic. And the people belonging to the caravan which was tired, got jumbled up and mixed in that bigger caravan, perhaps, which was much more energetic. And after some time, now we are in this state of confusion, where exactly we were going in this course of history. All right. And probably we're just trying to make sense in this context. Okay, how do we really place ourselves? And subsequently this bigger caravan, the modern Western civilization, creates stuff, and it is moving in a specific direction. Artificial intelligence is just another step in that development. And then we just respond to it in a very in a very reactive way, instead of really reflecting, okay, where exactly was our position in history, and where exactly we want to go in the next 100 years from now. So we should rather have a very holistic view of the subject. And like if we take if we zoom out, if we take a very broader view of history and look at like 3, 4, 5,000 years of world history from a distance, then perhaps I don't think there will be much disagreement, and rather you can find lots of references even in the Western philosophical discourse, and there are lots of Western historians. I can think of Karl Polanyi, for example, is one example. There can be so many other who would acknowledge that this whole development, this whole tendency in which the Western civilization is actually taking human history is an anomaly. Is not really, it's a kind of a cancer that we can actually to put it in that context. So if a development is going in that direction, I mean, what I have in my mind in the background is the environmental impact this whole civilization is having on the planet. If you just look at the kind of damage the civilization has done in polluting this entire planet, and destroying its natural habitats and ecosystem and etc., then the term cancer is not very inappropriate in that context if you look at it from that perspective. And the human societies have never done this level of damage, that their own existence at a global scale has become so at a stake in this context. And this whole civilization is moving in this direction, and we are kind of in this system, and like and we are wondering where is exactly our position in this context. So yeah, I totally agree with you in that sense.
So, but can we say that there's some things that AI technology shares with the earlier technologies, and there's some things that make it stand apart, make its presence more overwhelming or more ethically challenging, or can we dispense with this as well?
I think again, if we take a broader perspective, artificial intelligence is just doing the same thing again in an automated manner, which the civilization was already doing since last 200 years. I don't think it is doing something unique, because it requires data, huge quantity of data, and the data is actually being generated by existing practices. And when you put those practices when you convert that into data and subsequently develop automated system to do the same thing. So we are just doing the same thing in an automated manner, in a much more complex and automated manner. That's it. And this whole idea of using data and objectivity, I already mentioned that in my presentation, and Dr. Suri also mentioned this moments ago, that it is very much at the core of the Western civilization that they need to eliminate human subjectivity from every sphere of life, because that is seen essentially as problematic. Human beings are perhaps, this is probably the next stage in human evolution from their point of view, that we will be totally able to control our human subjectivity, and transhumanism is another stage in that direction, where we will be able to hack our brains and nervous systems, and we'll be totally be able to control already the devices are available in the market. There are companies selling devices which can put onto your brain, and you can use those devices to manipulate your emotions at this point in time. So human subjectivity is seen as a huge problem, and that is the problem. And this perspective is there since last 200-300 years. And then artificial intelligence is perhaps just an extension of this whole development that is taking humanity in that direction. Western civilization, to be very specific, in that direction, not the entire humanity.
All right.